All right, I appreciate y'all being here today. My purpose today is to portray C.S. Lewis as a man of immense literary talent, extreme wit, and an important Christian apologist. Let me first start with a quote by Mr. Lewis. "I believe in Christianity as I believe the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else." I've read a lot of Lewis's books, studied a lot of his writings, have done a lot of research for this particular talk about him, and become to admire him very greatly. Today we're going to take a brief look at his life, his writings, and his contributions to Christian thought. Mr. Lewis was born on November 29, 1898. He died on November 22nd, 1963. At an early age, his mother died at the age of, when he was 9 years old. That marked him very much, left him insecure, obviously, left a big void in his life. His father really didn't know how to handle that much. He sent him off to boarding school at that time. And his early years were marked by education. He was a very, very well-educated man, and he started at a very early age. So he moved from there. In 1931, though, he had a conversion to Christianity. And to use his own words, it was basically his intellectual snobbery that kind of got into him. He'd had all this education, he'd done this, but he still felt empty. But he was open to the truth. And when he was open to the truth, he finally found the truth. The reasons to him to believe in Christianity and to believe in Jesus Christ become insurmountable. And he was able to get through all those things and come to faith in Christ. I want to briefly look at some of his writings, because at that time, of course, his writings turned to a Christian worldview. There are many things that he's written in a broad spectrum and everything that he's done. But three of them I want to look at. First of all, Lewis was a great illustrator. And I'll say that again at the end. I think that's the thing that marks him most and I admire most about him. He paints such beautiful pictures. Sometimes he goes a long way around the barn to get there, you think so, but once he gets there, it's well worth the wait when he tells you things he gets there. The first one I want to look at is Mere Christianity. Mere Christianity came from a radio series that he did in World War II, basically talking about Christianity and kind of laying a foundation for it. It came later into a book called Mere Christianity. And the thing that I admire about it is such a good read to me is he starts from very basic points. He doesn't come out just throwing right out Christianity and things like this is why you should believe it. It comes from very concise, logical, these are the reasons why you should. And then he finishes it off at the end. Another book that I've read is called The Great Divorce. It's a book of fantasy. It has visions of heaven and hell in it. But it's very vivid. It's a very good book. One of the things that comes out in it toward the middle or toward the end a little bit, that people, and again, it's not something to be exact, it's not factual, but it's something, it's a kind of a vision. It gives, that people who are bound for heaven, once they get there, will kind of realize that this life melts into the next one and you're always in heaven. Or that if you're bound for hell, you probably find out that that's where you were all along, that's where you were headed. Again, that's just a purely fanciful thing, but it's a very interesting point that he makes in that, in the picture that he paints in there. Next, of course, one of his more famous ones was the Narnia series, Chronicles of Narnia. 7 books. One figure stands out, we could talk a lot about that, is Aslan. Aslan is a lion. Okay, a clear symbolism to Christ figure in there that you can see very clearly, and a very strong point in it. Now, again, Lewis was a great philosopher and a great Christian apologist, but I want to share a couple of things for you, quotes from other people from different sources. C.S. Lewis is an ideal persuader for the half-convinced, for a good man who would like to be a Christian but finds his intellect getting in the way. That's Anthony Burgess, who's a New York Times book reviewer. So that's a secular source. Lewis, perhaps more than any other 20th century writer, forced those who listened to him and read his works to come to terms with their philosophical presuppositions. And the last one, because much of his work was in popular media, including radio and children's stories, C.S. Lewis is arguably the most influential 20th century Christian theist and apologist. That's Norman Geisler, one of the giants of Christian apologetics. In conclusion, to summarize this, though, one of the things that I admire most about C.S. Lewis, he was a man of great training, great education, but he was able to put that aside and open his heart to the truth. And in doing that, Christ came in and showed him the truth in that. And he writes to believers and unbelievers alike. Anybody can read him, from children to adults, and find fulfilled in his writings and his readings. He's a great illustrator, though. That's why I bring that point back again to end with. He paints beautiful pictures, and he's well worth taking a look at. I would encourage you to look at his life and his reading. His writings.